Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock, which means it's time for a Talk Magic. Now, today, I'm going to be speaking to somebody that there's a very good chance that you don't know who this person is. And that's one thing that I've always liked to do on Magic TV, not just interview the biggest stars in Magic, but interview people that are out there doing the job, getting it done, out there performing and performing a lot. And that's who I'm going to be speaking to today. This person's story is very inspirational. I've known him personally for a few years now. He's not been in Magic for that long, but he makes his full-time living performing Magic and supports a family performing Magic. And that's the dream for a lot of people out there. And over the last few years, he's also dabbled in so many different areas when it comes to Magic. He's created Magic. He does kid shows, he does close up, he does stage, he does absolutely everything. So it's a very inspirational story, and a lot of people who are in the position that this person was a few years ago will really benefit from listening to what he's got to say, who he is, and understanding his journey. I am very, very excited to bring to you today the latest episode of Talk Magic, the one and only Thomas Moloney. How are you doing, Thomas?
I'm all right. I'm all right. A little bit tired, but I'm all right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, for those people that don't know, Thomas works with me, and I took him to an illusion show last night. We got back about 2 o'clock in the morning, which is part of the course with illusion shows.
Yep.
And you were going along to watch and see how it all works and what the show looks like, and how different it is to everything else. We can talk about that a little bit later on, but I'm glad, even though you're tired, you were able to jump on this call. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's no, it's cool. I'm tired, but I'm always tired, so this is normal. So I have kids. So
Well, like I said, you have a very inspirational story. I think there's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this interview that are in a
yeah.
similar situation to how you were a few years ago. And I want to delve into it. I want to talk to you about everything, your journey into Magic, your journey through Magic, what you've done, the highs, the lows, the mistakes, the successes. We're going to talk about everything because you're in a great place right now. We were speaking yesterday,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not always the easiest route to get there. And I want to hear about everything. The other thing that I think is quite inspirational about you, Thomas, is, and we're going to talk about this right now, but you got into Magic quite a lot later. A lot of people that I speak to on Talk
Mm.
Magic, they tell me that they got into Magic. They came out the womb holding a pack of cards, or they had an uncle pull a coin from behind their ear when they were 2 years old, and the bug bit. But that wasn't you. So let's start at the very beginning. And
Yeah.
let's talk about your journey into Magic and more importantly, your origin story. So, when did you find Magic?
Uh, I've always liked magic. I've always liked watching magic. When I was a kid, my mm, yeah, it's like when I was young, got a Paul Daniels magic set, opened it, realized the magic wand didn't work, and kicked it under the bed. And then that kind of ended magic for me because I was like, "What? It's not real." But I still enjoyed watching magic, and then originally, then I kind of got back into magic when I wanted to quit smoking, and it was just to fiddle with cards, and that kind of worked for about a year, and then I put the cards back down. Um, there, that's basically it. I got a Paul Daniels magic set. It didn't work. You know, and then then 5 years came. 5 years ago came. Magic came back, and I just started. It was for my. I worked in at the time. I worked in a day center where I had to entertain elderly people that came from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. He used to come to this day center. I used to look after them, and I used to entertain them. And I just used. I learned one card trick, then I learned another card trick. It was just very card heavy. It's where I practice my card under watch. Uh, um, and then so I really enjoyed performing magic to these elderly people. And then lockdown happened. The day center got shut. I got redeployed by my local council somewhere else. Got into a job I absolutely hated. And I was like, I really like this magic stuff. And then what's the best time to turn it into a career? I've got all this free time. So I use this free time to master free tricks.
So
which
hang on,
was
hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on,
yeah,
hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on.
yeah.
So you decided to go full-time pro in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, well, I just yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's
What?
no, there's logic behind it. I anticipated it sounds really bad, but I anticipated a lot of magicians were gonna quit magic
Well, they did.
just
You're right there.
because, they were losing their careers, so and I thought there's a lot of weddings that are gonna be backlogged. So I decided as soon as the lockdown was lifted, I was gonna hit the wedding market because there'd be loads of weddings all wanting a magician. That was
So hang on. I don't want to gloss over all of this because this is
yeah,
fascinating. So you were working in a daycare center. You
yeah,
hadn't really done magic for years. It was the little thing that you
yeah,
picked up here and there, but not really anything. And then you got this job entertaining elderly, and you thought, you know what? One way to entertain them is magic. You learned a couple of
yeah.
cards. You
Just self-working card tricks, just
yeah,
self-working card tricks.
you perform these tricks to the elderly people. Lockdown hit. You quit your job because you couldn't do that anymore, and then
Yeah,
you made a plan to not just go full time, but take over the wedding market.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit more to that as well because my wife we were earning alright, and, I said to my wife, "Give me a year. Give me a year. Uh, give me a year, and in a year's time, I'll be earning minimum wage. What's the worst that can happen? I go back to another minimum wage job." That was my idea. So so I made the lockdown period. There was 3 tricks. There was Chicago opener, which I still do today. uh, uh, Professor's nightmare and chop cup, stand up chop cup routine. And I thought I'll master these 3 tricks. I'll build a website. I'll fake it till you make it on the website. A lot of faking it on the website. And then I just started getting inquiries.
And this is still
Uh,
in lockdown. This is still in
that,
lockdown.
yeah, so in lockdown, because people in the wedding market still wanted something to plan for and hope for. I kind of got that a little bit, but I also did a lot of charity events during lockdown. I thought I needed flight time. So it came to the point where you were allowed out in open spaces and stuff. I've got a local park down the road that's quite touristy. So every day I was just hitting that local park, just doing the whole David Blaine thing. Do you want to see some magic? Do you want to see some magic? Do you want to see some magic? When it became a bit more allowed to perform in venues, my wife works at a bistro, so I was in there performing magic, performing magic. Any chance I got, I was performing magic, and one tip I got was perform magic to people that own shops because they want you to be in there to buy something. Obviously, I used to buy something, but if you're buying something, show them a trick. If you're doing something, so I've just got
This is
so
so
much
this was
flight
kind
time.
of going down the route of, hey, flight time. The more I do, the better. This
Yeah,
is
I needed to master these 3 tricks. I needed to master these 3 tricks.
kind of interesting.
So
Where did you get this three trick concept from? That you keep saying that over and over again. I got my three tricks. So your plan was to go to the wedding industry or the wedding market with three tricks.
yeah, I don't know if I got it from
That's not a
anywhere.
bad thing. I'm just really
Yeah,
curious as to because this is a very unique way to get into magic. You
yeah,
did because this all happened during the pandemic. You didn't really have a magic club to go to. You didn't really have a
yeah,
mentor to go to. You didn't
yeah.
really have much advice. This is something that you've come up with completely off your own back at this point. So it's
Yeah,
kind of interesting that you made all these choices.
I did join a local magic club, which was just Zoom meetings, and I did get a couple of friends that, helped me, gave me some advice and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, I thought, oh, I know where I got it from. I know where I got it from. Michael O'Brien, he had a PDF booklet that's free for everybody. A lot of it's American, but it does translate here. And he says you need to build your product, and your first product you need to build is a close-up act. Get your free trick. I'm sure that's where it's from. So, but that's more like where it's come from. So I thought I'd get 3 tricks, 3 diverse tricks: a rope trick, a cup trick, and a a card trick. I did yeah, yeah. So I did Chicago. So yeah, so I got them, mastered them, went to a wedding, And no matter how much I practiced, the moment, I was fine at charity gigs because I felt like I had nothing to lose because I was just, cutting my teeth anyway. Soon as I got my first wedding, that's when, wow, it was like performing the trick for the first time because it's on the line. Yeah, kind of felt like I was more important, which not really that important at a wedding. You know, it's the balloons are more important than me. So, but yeah, no. So, and then all of a sudden, I realized this free tricks just isn't enough because I just sped through them so
Mhm.
fast, and I was like, "Wow!" And then I just started jazzing with my deck of cards and started doing the stuff that I used to do in the care home, and then it quickly dawned on me in this first wedding gig that I had when I was like, I'm here just to make people laugh and have a good time with them. And then I quickly realized that the magic is just like 20% of it. It's about me going up to and getting people talking, getting people happy, becoming the photographer's best friend so they can take photographs. So then that was my first wedding done, which if you ever go on my website, thomasmaloney.co.uk, them photographs are from my first ever wedding that I did, and they're still my best photographs. There's like a group of guys, a bloke in an orange suit going with a card. I can't get out. It's the best photograph I've ever had. But yeah, no. So I hit the wedding market, and then it went really, really well for a little bit. But then the magicians started getting back into work, so then it
Well,
started.
before we get to that point, because I want to
Yeah,
get to that point,
yeah.
where were you getting work from? You say you built a website. Did you teach yourself to build websites?
Yeah, I built my yeah, I did everything for free. I think my website, if anybody wants to look at my website literally cost me for my name, thomasmaloney.co.uk. Everything else was just built for free. During lockdown, I just leveled up, just went on a lot of tutorials. I use Google Sites, which is a free online thing. Anybody can build site. It's very simple once you get your head around it. Um, so yeah, my website only cost me like 5.99 just to get my domain, and then that was it. And I've never really, I'm just paying, and then I just paid to have to keep the domain. So yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, no, I feel like you get a lot of downtime. Well, there is, apart from doing tricks, build your own website. Learn how to do it because it's a lot easier if you can do it yourself from like the bare bones. Obviously, one day when I'm like, got too many gigs that I might have to get someone to do it for me. But at the moment, I was doing it myself, and it's come second nature to me now. It's easy for me to tweak. It's easy for me to. But yeah, I built my own website. When I first started, I didn't even have a mobile phone. So when people were ringing me, they were going through to my wife. So my wife was acting like, "Oh yeah, I'm his receptionist." And I've actually got it up here. Before I started working for you, I had a paper diary. There's no way I could use a paper diary now. But
That's it.
yeah, no. But then it all started to die down a bit. It's like,
Well, before the dying down thing, I've got one more question.
yeah.
Where were you getting the work initially? Because
Oh,
obviously,
where's getting the work?
lots of work.
I
Well,
was
because
spamming.
because the thing is, for people that don't know,
Yeah.
having a website doesn't mean anything
No,
because
no,
if
it
you've
did.
got a website, even if you've got the best website in the world,
Yeah,
unless it's optimized, it's like having the most amazing shop in the world with a wonderful shop front, but
yeah,
it's in the middle of a desert. Like no one is ever going to be able to find it.
yeah. And
And
I realized that.
I know that you weren't doing SEO,
Yeah.
you weren't doing pay per click. So how
No.
are you getting gigs, Thomas?
I just went on Facebook because I didn't know anything about this sort of thing. So I went on Facebook. I added, say, like there was Matlock wedding suppliers group page, bride suppliers, all everything in Matlock. Then I worked my way out, and then I ended up getting the whole of England. And I had a post, and every day I'd post on all. It'd take forever. So I'd post on about 150 groups with this advert, but make the adverts different every day, which works, but very short term, like 6 months is short term. That's where people were finding me coming to my website, and then once people came to my website, I'd then get work off the back of going to a wedding because then my job is when I was at a wedding is I need to get another gig out of this wedding. That that's like first priority is make sure the bride and groom are getting what they want. The second is I need to find that customer. So that was my next job, uh, which that works, but only if you do it right. Only if you do it right, because I'm just a magician. I'm not Thomas Moloney to anybody else. I'm the person that made people smile. And if they go home and go, "Oh, we should get a magician," and then they look it up, they're going to go to Slightly Unusual. So, so yeah, just basically spamming, which is a short-term fix. It worked, but then Facebook get a bit, hang on, this guy's spamming a lot. This guy's spamming a lot, and then you start getting your page restricted, start getting this. But to start off with, it got me a bit of work. I don't know if it still works now. I do it occasionally now. Still do it occasionally now because it's like a bad habit. But yeah, so I was just spamming it's spamming, but nice. They were nice. It was content that brides were wanting to see.
Okay.
Photographs and links to my page.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where my inquiries were coming from.
So you've got to a point where you've not been really properly doing magic for very long. You've
No.
probably been doing it for about a year, if that.
Yeah.
You've got a website, you're going out there, you're doing weddings, you're getting yourself wedding bookings.
Yeah.
You've got your 3 tricks that you do when you go out there. You've probably expanded the repertoire a little bit now.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But so you then said that things started going a bit Pete Tong. What happened?
Uh, yeah, it's my formula just wasn't working. The Facebook stopped working to get it in. And the theory behind it is there wasn't that backlog of weddings anymore. There wasn't that backlog of weddings, and there was more. This is only a theory. More magicians were coming back to work. A lot better magicians and a lot less weddings. So I got that initial, people got their insurance money, they can get a wedding, that sort of thing. So it just started dying down, and then I was like, well, what can I do? What can I do? And it came to the point where I promised my wife in a year's time that I'd be earning minimum wage again. So I was like, oh, how can I do this? How can I do this? So I started looking on the internet, Googling, like everybody does. You go on the internet and you type in wedding magician or magician, and you kept coming up, you kept coming up, you kept coming up. So I was like, oh, this guy keeps coming up. And I was like, and I'm lazy in a practical way. So I felt like, oh, if I can't beat him, I should really join him. How do I join him? And I think in the early stages, I must have sent you a message, like an email. Can I work for Slightly Unusual? And that didn't happen. And then I thought, I'll grab you at Blackpool.
This is
Blackpool.
really interesting because I must get
Yeah.
about 50 people a week asking to join Slightly Unusual.
I get about 50 people a week asking me how to join Slightly Unusual as well. Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, no, so I had to turn around to my wife and say, at the time, going to Blackpool was expensive for me. So I says I want to go to Blackpool. I was be speaking to Michael O'Brien, so he was going because on the back of his advice and I used his chocolate with him, we kind of got a bit of an online friendship going. So I decided I'm going to go to Blackpool. I'm going to collar you, and I'm going to try and work for you. Which, yeah, that's
So this would be Blackpool. So this would be Blackpool 2022, the first Blackpool after the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because it ran in 2020.
Yeah.
And then obviously they had the virtual one in 2021. So this would be 2022.
The first
one when it came back and everyone was a bit trepidatious and everyone was still wearing masks. That one.
First time, yeah, it was the first time I'd ever been as well. So to me, it was packed. It was busy. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's not as busy as it used to be." And I'm like, went this year. I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That time wasn't that as busy." But I loved it. So I think the first time I collared you, you was in the cafe bit in the Spanish bar.
I remember being busy that year because that was when Ryland was doing Britain's Got Talent, and Blackpool had him doing his Britain. Nobody knew at that point.
Yeah.
But Ryland doing his Britain's Got Talent audition act on the gala show.
Yeah,
So I was running around backstage at the gala show, helping with that. And
yeah.
although I didn't have my own booth, I think I was on the Alakazam booth. I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing you on the Alakazam booth, and it was the first time I went to Blackpool as well, so I felt really bloody starstruck as well. Like, I've seen all these people that, to me, I'd only ever seen on a TV screen.
Mm.
Uh, and I was showing my wife, sending her the photos. Look, that's Stephen Mulhern. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh look, this is such and such. Look, this is Andy Nyman, and like Holly's a bit like, who are these people? And I'm like, what? But the first person I met was actually Ian Rowland, which I ended up getting. We became really good friends. Yeah, he helped me with my magic circle as well, which is quite cool. But yeah, so uh, so yeah, I was in. I seen you in that cafe. You were busy. Like, I think I remember what I remember saying. I just complimenting you. I just thought, I've been watching your things. Your thing. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have got into doing this a bit. And then he was like, I'm definitely want to talk business, but my wife's just turned up at the hotel. I'll catch you later, which fair enough. So I was a bit like, need to call him again. The conversation was a bit better than that. I'm just a bit rubbish at explaining it. And then during that period of time, I bumped into Kieran, who worked for you.
It still does.
Uh, and he said, the way to Craig's heart is kids' parties. Do
Well, I
kids'
mean,
parties.
in a way,
Yeah,
he's right. Well, he is right. The thing is, for people that don't know, because people might not know, I run a couple of different entertainment companies. I run one called Slightly Unusual, which is close-up magic, weddings, illusion shows, cabaret shows, holiday parks, that sort of thing.
yeah,
And then I run another company called Nonstop Kids Entertainment, which runs kids' parties literally all over the UK. And although there are some people in Slightly Unusual that don't work for Nonstop Kids, normally anybody who works in Slightly Unusual also works in Nonstop Kids. And Nonstop Kids is a bigger company by far.
yeah.
Not that Slightly Unusual small by any stretch of the imagination, it's not.
No.
But I think Nonstop Kids does about 15,000 parties a year. Slightly
Yeah.
Unusual does about 3,500 events a year. So
When you
Nonstop Kids is about 5 times bigger.
yeah, when you first took me on, you said that with non-stop kids, you were having to turn away 30 bookings a day. And at the time, I was like, oh, this guy must be making it up. But he's not. He's really not. So yeah, that was like, which kind of the work's there. The work's there if you want it. So yeah, so Kieran kind of got me introduced to you properly again because there was that like connection. Uh, and then I just thought it was all too good to be true. You were saying, "Yeah, I can get you work. I can get you work," and I thought, "This guy being serious? Is he just saying this to like brush me off because he's getting a lot of people like me coming up to him, wanting to work for him." Uh, and then I think I just kind of became his shadow for a little bit over you and Ben Williams. Ben Williams, I got to meet Ben Williams. Who's a great guy as well. Um, so yeah, then after Blackpool, because you says email the office when you get home. I think you were going to Penguin or you were going somewhere where he says, I'm going to be gone for a fortnight, but I'll email the office. I'll get back to you. I emailed the office and I didn't hear anything. I was like, oh no, it was all crap. But then I ended up going for my Magic Circle exam. Oh, that was the other thing I did in Blackpool. I thought, well, I may I'll sign up for the Magic Circle with my free tricks. So- which, yeah, that worked. And it did. So just stick to what you're good at. So, but yeah, no. Um, so yeah, there was some wires crossed. For some reason, Sarah thought I didn't drive, which is a big like, ugh, you don't drive. And I don't know how that wires got crossed, but then we ended up talking in Blackpool at the Magic Circle because you were doing your first lecture at the Blackpool Magic Circle in ages.
Mm.
So it was quite a good buzz in the room. So I collared you again. I went, whoa, where's my phone call? and at that point you went, "Here's my telephone number. Give me a call tomorrow night." And I was like, "Okay." So I gave you a call. I gave you a call, and literally, I think we were on the phone for about like 3 hours, which to me at the time was a bit of a wow. This is serious. This is getting there. I was getting a bit nervous. And then you're like, need you in the office tomorrow morning. I'm like, oh, whoa, where's the office? And this was all happening at like early hours of the morning, these conversations and chats and emails. And you went, you need to get these paperwork for that, get in the office tomorrow morning. Go in the office the next day. Literally had to figure out childcare. I was like, I'm not letting this opportunity go because I like basically a stay-at-home dad. Casting my kids off, getting to you for 9 o'clock, I think. Can't remember what time it was, but I was like, it was like a mad panic in the morning. Got to you, missed breakfast, got to you, and then you just taught me a kids show. You just taught me a kids show in in about well, it was like a day's work. You taught me a kids show, and then you got you got Rachel, who's an awesome kids entertainer. You went, okay, you're gonna go shadow her. You're gonna go to Drayton Manor and you're just gonna go watch and get involved. And yeah, I went there and I was like, I just in the space of like the night before, all of a sudden I'm at a paid kids gig, and basically, and that was it. And then I learned the kids show. I started doing kids shows, kids shows, kids shows. I thought, keep doing kids shows, keep pestering the office, keep pestering the office, keep being relevant in the office. Pop into the office just for no reason whatsoever, apart from to bring donuts, and all this sort of stuff. And then just the more of the gigs came, and I opened up my what I don't restrict myself where I go. I'll go to Edinburgh. Do you know what I mean? You point, I'll go. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's if anybody ever wants to work for a company like Slightly Unusual Non-Stop Kids, just you need to be the easiest person ever. They need to go, oh, it literally needs to be like, got this, you got this, go. Do you know what I mean? And that's where you got to go. And I think that's why I started getting more and more successful within the kids entertainment and Slightly Unusual, is because I went and did it. I think once the first Slightly Unusual gig I ended up getting off of you was in Bristol, and it's like, oh, I've got a gig in Bristol this evening. I think you'd hurt your leg or something. I don't know what happened, but you'd hurt your leg or something. And you need to go there. Don't need to go there, but here it is. It's such and such. It's in Bristol. So literally, I had to look at the watch and go, well, I need to set off like 20 minutes ago. So I went, yeah, it's done it. I'll go do it. And I went and did it. And yeah, that was my first Slightly Unusual. And yeah, and it's like just the harder you work for someone, the harder they work back, I find. And that's kind of how it worked with Slightly Unusual and Non-Stop Kids. You're there for me, I'm there for you. And yeah, I'm babbling a bit. So
No, it's fascinating. And we're going to continue to talk about that. But
yeah.
when you first started, or when I first met you, I felt like you gravitated more towards mentalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you don't. I was watching
No.
close up last night, and although you were performing Flux, there wasn't really much mentalism at all. It was more magic based. So my question is,
Yeah.
because this is interesting, because people talk about, I want to transition into mentalism, but I've never seen anyone transition from mentalism into magic. Was that because you started doing kids' parties? Was it like, what was the reason for moving from one genre of the performance to the other?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I really don't. I got into mentalism. I got into mentalism when I started making money at magic, because it was gadgets you can't afford as a hobbyist. So I was buying these amazing gadgets, basically people that use the sort of things that I was doing in mentalism, the electronics and that sort of thing. The impression pads. In the right hands, in the right environment, they're absolutely amazing. But for drawing duplication, for this, and I literally thought, I can afford this now. I'm going to get the best of the best of the best, and then my actual magic suffered. So it was kind of just that, really. It was like, oh wow, I can tell you what picture you've drawn, and I can be at the other side of the room. Nobody cares. If you go into the other side of the room, there's what? You know, but no, and it's also that it lost the entertainment value. I liked entertaining. When I originally got into magic, it was in a day center for elderly people and making them happy, making them laugh, a lot of it was the card trick, but laughing around the card trick, doing it, having fun with them. And I miss doing that. And so now, when I go up to my job is try and get everybody laughing, everybody having fun. You know what I mean? The magic comes second. You know what I mean? I'm there to get a good smiley face for the photographer. That's my job. No matter what any magician thinks when they go to a wedding, the thing that the bride wants is smiley faces on photographs. Do you know what I mean? Because I always say this, and this is how I feel about it with me. Nobody's ever gonna. You're always gonna have a good wedding because all your spectators and your spectators you're performing for, they're never gonna turn up to the bride, go up to the bride and groom and go, "Wedding was great, magician was shit though. Sorry for ruining your day. See you later." You know, they're never gonna say that. But so you don't have to worry about that. You have to worry about the photographs because that's what the bride's gonna see. Oh, that look at that. Look how happy they are. Oh, they've got a playing card in there and they must have done a good magic trick. That's what the spectator wants to see. Sorry, that's what the booker wants to see. They want to see everybody having a good time,
That's
you know.
great advice. Yeah.
Um, not
Chris
you know,
Dugdale
not
calls this the snapshot moment. He says you have to
yeah,
be aware that every second that you're performing could potentially be a moment that's been photographed. So you have to think about everything that you do to make
yeah.
sure it comes across well on a photo.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. You know, you've got to like cue their moments. You know, it's that they're not. You know, you can't leave it to chance. You've got to give them moments. You know what I mean? I kind of focus a lot of my magic around that. I'm not actually doing the magic. It's actually the spectators that's doing the magic. You know, I've feedback Chicago opener around that. I've seen flux around that. I've seen my ambitious card. Basically, most of the stuff I do, yeah, I'm doing all the moves, but the spectators doing it with their magic words and their magic gesture.
Yeah.
So then I can go give them a massive round of applause, and then everybody's clapping for them, but the book is seeing this massive table clapping and cheering. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's really crafty, especially with kids. The kids are great. You know what I mean?
So I was going to ask that question. You kind of got into a position where, you were struggling for work. You
yeah,
came and worked for me. You were kind of forced into doing kids' parties. Now, I do tend to find that within the industry, a lot of close-up magicians look down on kids' entertainers and they go, "Oh, I wouldn't be a kids' entertainer. I'm a real magician." Um,
yeah,
I perform at kid shows all the time, and
mm,
I
yeah,
don't feel that way at all. I think that personally, learning how to be a kid's entertainer makes you a better close-up magician, makes you a better stage magician.
mm,
But as somebody who kind of got put into doing kids gigs without even having that as a goal or an agenda
yeah,
item or anything, how do you and to be clear, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, you probably, you do a really well out of non-kids gigs now. So you probably wouldn't need to do the kids gigs.
no.
But like what's your viewpoint on magicians doing kid shows?
They need they need to do it. I don't understand why they don't do it. You know, you know, it's especially if you're going to a wet, like, you know, you need to know how to perform to children. You need to know how to perform to children, you know, young and all of them, you know, you're getting booked to entertain. I feel like it's really rude, you know, it's like if you're getting booked in over 18s only, what's that about? What is that about? Do you know what I mean? And I'll get your gig instead. Do you know what I mean? And kids are fun to perform for. Do you know what I mean? They keep you on your toes. Do you know what I mean? And you know, my formula is make the kids a little star, and then you've got all the photographs. You got if you ever go on my reviews, it always goes, "Oh, he's a fantastic magician. Great with kids. Great with the children." Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, that's what people want to see anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But people that don't do kids shows or don't want to do kids shows, yeah, you know, it's all right, you know, but don't moan that you've not got any work. Don't moan if you're boring. Do you know what I mean? Because it adds character to you. One thing that happened was when I first did my Magic Circle exam, when you was there, that time I failed it, and with a little bit of help from Ian Rowland. But the biggest help was in 6 months' time, I was going to go back and do it again. I'd had 6 months of kids parties behind me, then I passed it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that was because the criticisms that I had in my circle exam is like kept turning my back to the audience, kept forgetting about the audience. 6 months of kids shows that you're not going to forget about your audience, which gave me more of a stage presence, more of interaction. You know, just I feel like the 6 months of kids shows that's what got me to pass my magic circle exam.
Wow.
So, but yeah, no, it's kids shows. I love kids shows. You know, this is great. You know, I think it helps that I have children anyway, but
Yep.
so I don't. I'm not scared of children. Um, you know, it's my key shows are really dry anyway. Do you know what I mean? I come across the way I perform. I'm not, you know, I'm not Mr. Tumble. I'm there in a jeans and a t-shirt doing classics of magic, which fool the adults. You
Hmm.
know, what's that dot one? What I do? You know, with the black
Dog's neck.
dot. That fools adults. Do you know what I mean? That fools adults. You know, you do jokes that go over the kids' heads because you've got to impress the adults because they're the ones that are going to be booking you. So they're the ones that are going to be ringing up non-stop kids. So you got to, you know, I have a lot of lines like, you know, I have a lot of lines that, you know, go over the kids' head but entertain the kids, but the adults love it. You know, when you do a kids show, when I do a kids show anyway, the adults are there. They're at the back of the room, so you're doing a family show in my eyes anyway. So, but also you've got a fantastic formula. You know, the kids show that the standard kids show you give every one of your kids entertainers is idiot proof. If you perform it the way you teached it me, it can't go wrong because there's so many fail safes with it. You know, the look no see, the being the you know being the crap magician. Do you know what I mean? So if it does go wrong, or kids, I'll be you're the crap magician anyway. You know what I mean? It's great. I love it. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's yeah, I love kids shows, and then yeah, you know, yeah, yeah, it's great. I've started doing Vanishing Ball, which is cool. So they
Oh,
love that.
Vanishing Button is amazing.
Yeah,
Um, okay. So it's kind of a really interesting story up until this point. You got into magic during lockdown, started doing wedding gigs, and then
mm,
eventually, the work dropped off and you start working with slightly unusual and non-stop kids.
yeah,
It would have been very easy to rest on your laurels because for those people that don't work for me, you can get a lot of work. Like you'll
yeah,
cut,
yeah, yeah,
like a ridiculous amount to the point that you don't need your own gigs if you don't want them. And there's a lot of people that work for those that don't get their own gigs. Now,
yeah,
you could have rested on your laurels, but you're not that sort of guy. You're very, very ambitious and
yeah.
you carried on. And let's talk about a couple of things that you tried. Like, should we talk about genuine magic?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jane Magic was all right. Well, originally it started off was I was, I've got a friend, a little leather shop in Matlock, which is great. And I went to him, and went, oh, I've got this really naff prop. Could you make it out of leather and make it better? I'm like, yeah, easy. And then it made me another one, and then made some bits and bobs. And then he says like, oh, would your magic friends be interested in buying any of this stuff? Because to him, it's like, this cost me nothing. But on the magic market, everything's really expensive. And I can do it as better quality. And I'm like, all right then, I'll test the water, which I did. So then I came up with an out to lunch pad, came up with a peak wallet, did some like packet trick holders. And basically the way it worked was whatever my leather guy wanted, I doubled and added postage and sent it out. It's the way it worked. So I was able to keep the prices quite low. Uh, but I hate customers. I hate customers. It was just so much. It
Yeah,
was
because
good.
genuine
It was
magic
good.
was getting a good name for itself. Like you
It
were,
was. It was.
there's a lot of people that actually use your products, but I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't really do it anymore. Um,
No, no, because one thing that you taught me was time management, and I was putting a lot of time into chatting to people, promoting it, a day of doing the postage and all this, where that could have been, I could have spent them hours getting one gig that'd be the same as selling so many wallets. And that's kind of where it came to as I started focusing on started not pushing the lever, started focusing on the magic, the business side of magic, and then realized I get more money out of focusing on the business side of magic than I do running to the post office, promoting my products, nipping to pick up a leather wallet, posting it back out. A lot of people just asking questions, asking questions, asking questions. Can you make these alterations? And then you go, yes. And they go, oh, I've changed my mind. You're like, what the hell? Do you know what I mean? So, which is fair enough, but that's just not my business. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's not me. I just want to trick somebody into thinking I've been doing magic all my life and going to wow them at a wedding. So
Absolutely.
always
Absolutely.
look successful. So,
But I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to. I'm going to be very careful how I say this. Having worked with you, because for those people that don't know, you're a gold member of the Netrix and have been for a
Hmm.
little while now. So I've
Yeah.
been mentoring you behind the scenes on various different things
Yeah.
as you work into my company. So knowing you as well as I do,
Mm.
you mentioned time management. You do get distracted with projects
I
that,
do. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think
Easy.
it's an important thing for people to listen to, because I
Yeah.
speak to a lot of people that are new into magic and they want to
Yeah.
be full time, and they go, right, okay, so I'm going to create this magic trick and put it on the Penguin Partner Program,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go and get gigs, and I'm going to go and get restaurants, and I'm going to do a stage show, and I'm going to do a theatre
Mm.
show, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the other, and they end up doing all of this, and rather than doing one or two things really well, they end up
Yeah.
doing lots of things, flapping and running around, and they don't really achieve much.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that that's you, because you're actually quite
It
focused.
was. It was though.
Yeah, I mean, can you talk about that very quickly?
Yeah. Yeah. So it came to a point where it's shown when I was messing around with the leather, and then I was trying to put a show together. Then I was just doing other little. I can't. There was other stuff there. Trying to trying to start up my own kids' entertainment company.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That
Won't
was
go there. Won't go there.
that was a really good idea, wasn't it, Thomas? Yeah, I remember that one. That
Yeah.
was
Uh, but no, that was just foolish. That was naivety. No. So yeah, no. So I'm just trying to do everything because I'm like, oh, eggs in, and don't keep all your eggs in one basket. But then again, don't throw them all out in the garden. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, I was doing a lot, but then things were sacrificing, and then I looked at where my money was coming from, and it was all just coming from you. Yeah, all this stuff that I was doing was draining money and not building, and I was literally relying on your wages. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh. So then I thought, this needs to change. And then, spoke to you in the office, spoke to you, we started sorting it out. And then, you said you're spinning too many plates. You gave me the story when lockdown happened. You had to go into like survival mode. Then you
Mhm.
focused everything on non-stop kids. You
Mm.
got that back up and running better than ever. So you said, Tom, you need to niche down. You need to find what you're good at. You need to do that, do what you want. And that's what I did. I niched everything down. I think, would it have been like the middle of last year? Middle of last year, started niching down. And I niched down into the wedding market. I niched down to Derbyshire wedding magician. And that's what I did. Derbyshire wedding magician. And then all of a sudden that just started, with, going to you know, go into the SEO and stuff and all that sort of stuff. But that's all on your metrics anyway. But yeah, just nailed down on that. Started every morning going to my wife owns a cafe, and not owns works at a cafe. Works at a cafe. She's a manager there. As a manager at a cafe, I used to go there to work with her. I used to sit at the cafe with my laptop, business, 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 every day, and then just focusing on that instead of running to the leather shop, running to this and running to do that. Just focused on, you know, optimized my website as best I could. Still not spent a penny. Optimized my website, optimized things, doing the best I can. But also I'm like a bit ethical as well. So like I'm not trying to backdoor into anybody's things now. Yeah, I mean, I'm nailing down on Derbyshire, them sort of areas, and it's coming. You don't need to try and cast your net all over England. So I'm niching down, which it still comes to. Do you know what I mean? I did a gig in Edinburgh, and that came about because there's people that go to weddings in Derbyshire that live in Edinburgh. Do you know what I mean? So that happens. Don't book a wedding in Edinburgh for an hour in December, especially when you work for Craig. It's a
Yeah,
nightmare.
I could have told you that. I did say
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, no, and I focus more on, you know, just just my own business side and but then it's also the great thing about working for you is it gives you that security blanket of being able to stick to your prices, follow the blueprint of, the sales technique and not worry because if I don't get this gig, you'll fill my calendar anyway. So that's if anybody and so like I'm not keeping all my eggs in one basket because I'm keeping my eggs in non-stop kids, slightly unusual, and um, my own stuff. But I don't have to worry about your side of things because your office are doing all that for me, so that's great. And also, just being present in the office, do you know what I mean? It's try and get your name called out in the office as much as you can. That's what I found when our early days of working for you is, you know, I want to be like, oh, let's get Tom on it. Let's get Tom on it. And I think that still goes on, which is quite nice. And I just always pop it in. I think Matt and Liz have got pictures of me on their computer screens. So
They have.
just so they don't forget me. Uh, but yeah, no, it's just been a nice, pleasant person. It's just being like, when you call, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can say no, and I do say no. But if you can do it, do it. Do you know what I mean? It's yeah, it's you
Well, the
know,
other thing that you've done that I think that is very important, and it's the thing that a lot of magicians don't do, two things. One, you've educated yourself.
yeah,
And you've done that throughout, learning how to design websites, learning how to do SEO. Yeah, a lot of the information is there on the net tricks, but you have to take the time to sit there and learn it and do
yeah,
it. But you've educated yourself and you've trained yourself to be able to do this sort of stuff. But then the
yeah,
other
yeah. It
one,
lapses. It lapses like with anybody. So you have to give yourself a kick up the bum. Uh, but like the best advice that you gave me is like get yourself out of the house. You know, I used to treat nipping to the. You said to me, find somewhere that has refillable coffee and just 9 to 5 it. That's your office, and that's the best advice I had because if I don't leave the house, I won't do anything. I've not left the house there. I've just been tinkering around with magic tricks. Wife's told me put washing on, waiting for a package. If I say no, I'm working today. And also with my wife, just say, look, you got to treat this as I'm going to work as well. So you can't say do this around the house, do this around the house. Just act that I'm at work. Do you know what I mean? And kind of have that. Treat it like you've got to get up. You've got to go to work. Do you know what I mean? Because it's quite easy to slip into the stay in my pajamas. You know what I mean? Doss around the house. Do you know what I mean? I'll learn a card trick or two. I might do that. I might do that. Oh, what's that on Alakazam? Do you know what I mean? This is the advice that you gave me. So just get yourself out, get dressed, get yourself out of the house, get your routine going, and and it works. It's quite surprising giving it a fortnight of just sticking to that routine, and it becomes so at the computer. But you'll see a difference, and the more you do, it's just like the more you do, the more you actually get it back. It's quite. It's very rewarding, and you feel like you've earned it as well. You know what I mean? Don't wait for the phone to ring because it really won't ring. Don't wait for that inquiry to drop into your box. You know what I mean? It won't. You've got to go and find it.
well, you've got to make it happen, haven't you? There's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
people in the world. There's people that watch things happen, and there's people that make things happen. And
yeah,
you have very much become a person that makes things happen. And I think your
yeah.
work is a big part of that. You're tracking everything. You're treating your business
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
you're on top of all of this stuff, and that's so important.
Yeah, tracking. I never thought to track things. I think the first. the day when I first got into it, when you said, "So, how many inquiries you had this week?" And I went, "Oh." Do you know what I mean? And he was like, "Well, you're on the right." And then that's it. And then that was another thing. You told me, you need to get a basic spreadsheet, and I kind of went over the top and went, "I just learned how to do spreadsheets. I made graphs and everything, and it's so good seeing it. It's like a game. Do you know what I mean? The inquiries coming in, what you converted, color coding it. It's great, and that's kind of reward on its own. You see it as a numbers game. You don't see it. You know, it's great. It's quite nice. Um, which I think that's where a lot of magicians fall because you have to like business. You know what I mean? You have to like business to do it. If you don't like business, you can't just become I feel like you can't become a professional magician if you just like magic. You have to like the business side of it as well. If you don't like the business side of it, just keep magic as a hobby, pocket money. That's fine. That's good. But yeah, it's you if you want to have a decent life, because I'm having the best living I've ever had. You know what I mean? I've got, yeah, my goal is to, repay my wife from the year she had to put up with me being a skint magician. So, and she's getting it back now, which is quite nice. So, yeah. But now it's like just pushing myself, I feel like, I'm, you know, I put a stage show together and now I wanted to join the illusion bit. But
Well,
that's like
no, go on, go on, go on.
Well, that's like the other thing. It's like I wouldn't get the illusion show if I didn't push myself. So I was like pushing myself with you. Just I want to do illusion shows. I want to do illusion shows. Uh, can I come to the office and learn? In my own time, come and learn and come and learn because that's the way you get it. You're not going to turn around and just say, "Here's a box. There you go." Do you know what I mean? You've got to put that think of it just an education. You know what I mean? It's a free education. You're not getting paid for it, so that's what I try and think of it like.
Yeah.
So,
And
um,
and as somebody who's now transitioning into stage magic, which you have done, obviously you've gone from close up, carrying on doing close up to kids, and now from
mm,
kids you're doing stage magic. Forget about the illusion shows because you've literally just started and you just went to watch your first one yesterday.
yeah,
But you are putting a cabaret show together. You've done a cabaret a couple of times
yeah,
now. Obviously, we've just booked a holiday park contract in for you,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
which is great. But what advice would you give somebody who's wanting? Because that's the thing that a lot of close-up magicians want to do. They want to go from close-up to stage, and there is a reason for that, and I totally understand that. And one of the reasons is I personally think it's cooler being on stage than doing close-up. As much as I love close-up,
yeah,
and I do. You were watching me do close-up last night. I love close-up, but
yeah,
um, I prefer stage, and
yeah.
I think you're treated with a bit more respect when you do
Oh,
stage.
yeah, yeah. That when I went yesterday with you, uh, it was just nice going to a gig where you felt like the act. They're here, important, VIP. Not like in like a big-headed way. It's just, it's you're not this bumbling magician. Oh, can I put my case behind the bar? Oh, thanks. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a stage. You've got that room. There, you got this. It's you got the DJ coming up. People helping you out. Like you had the DJ coming up to you, and going, giving you advice. Do you know what I mean? And you got the sound guy. It was just all like they were running around you. You weren't trying to dodge them, which I find as a close-up magician it is kind of like that. It's like you're the most unimportant person in the room. Do you know what I mean? But being the headlining act of a corporate show that you were doing yesterday, they want to make your life easy. They want to help you. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what everyone's there for. Which yeah, it was really it was lovely feeling like that at a gig
Mm.
instead of being like yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Do you know what I mean? Which is quite nice. Yeah. Um,
And you do
yeah.
get that stage magician, you're treated with a bit more
Yeah.
respect. It's like there's the disabled toilets, go change in there, right? Oh no, you've got a
Yeah.
green room and eat anything you want to. It's very
Yeah.
different.
Well, that's it, wasn't it? It's like not in like a big-headed kind of way, not like a prima donna kind of way, but it was just like it was. It's you're part of the staff. Everyone's there to help you out. You know what I mean? You're part of the team when you get there. It's quite nice. But yeah, no, it is good. But then again, with kids parties, you get that feeling at kids parties anyway.
You
When
do.
you go to a kids party, that kids party is going to be nothing without you. So yeah, there's a table. There's this. What? Anything else? Want? Do you want a cup of tea? Yeah, it's the same as a kids party, really, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
So, but my advice would be, if you want to do stage managing, just do kids parties. You know, I road test a lot of my stuff that's age appropriate. You know, the reason I'm doing Vanishing Bottle in my kids show is because I want to get it the best it can be in my grown up show. You know, it's I do the whisk trick, cue the magic. Yeah, I do a lot of things that I want to road test on kids. They're the best people. They'll tell you if you're wrong. Do you know? They'll tell you if it's crap as well, which is good. Um, you know, it's you know, and also if I got typically when you have a kids party anyway, you get about 15 minutes food break. So I always try and get the things that are supposed to get done in my break done before I start my show. So if I've got something I want to work on, which is close up, I mingle with the adults and say, "You want to see something else?" And then that's another thing you can do. But you know, you get if you think your compliments are good when you do a close up gig after you've entertained 30 children and you're getting all them parents got, you know, it's the compliments and the reviews that you get are mental. You know, if you're such a good ego trip because they look at it and they go, "How the hell did you do that?" Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, and it's you know it's your formula that works. So magicians just need to do kids shows. I don't understand why they don't do it. You know, it's
I
do
agree.
kids shows.
I totally.
You know, it's there's more work out there. There's a lot more work out there if you do kids shows, and you got to think. You know, you do. Also, when you're doing kids shows, a lot of the times when I do kids shows, it's like, oh, do you do other stuff? And you get that anyway. Do you know what I mean? And then I have to point them into slightly unusual. So it's more work too. No, I'm only joking. No, but no, but yeah, no, it's like so you get kids shows, everything works. You do kids shows. That doesn't I don't think that tarnishes you being a magician. You know what I mean? So you do kids shows, they've seen what you can do. They and also they see that you're not you're not Mr. Tumble. You're showing a skill. You're showing the magic. The magic's still strong. As long as the magic's still strong, you know, and you got that performance and you're dominating the room and you're getting adults clapping as well, they're going to want to book you anyway. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Is it just kids shows you do? You know, no. It's slightly unusual. They do illusions, do everything, you know, that sort of thing. But just ask for Tom. That's what I say to him. Ask for Tom. But yeah, no. But yeah, no. Doing kids shows, there's no downside to doing kids shows apart from you not being able to do it. And I think it's a good excuse for not being able to perform to children. And I think that's what it is. I don't think that people are better than children. I think they're scared of children, which is
Yeah.
hard. It is hard. It's hard. But once you've got
Well,
that formula,
the thing with kids is they're honest. You can go and
yeah,
do a cabaret show, and the adults will sit there and they'll do whatever. They'll sit there quietly and go, "Oh, that was very nice," depending on how drunk they are. But with
yeah,
kids, if you're not very good and they perceive you as not being very good, they're just going to stand up and walk off, or
yeah,
they're going to tell you you're rubbish. Either way, they're going to be completely honest with you. So,
yeah, yeah.
they've got no,
Well,
they've got no
that's it,
choice.
isn't it? It's yeah, it's but once you got it down, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's all about the warm up. Do you know what I mean? So
Um, and very quickly, I've watched you, talking about close up. You've been doing close up now for a long time, and I've worked with you at 2 or 3 events. Last night, I saw you doing close up
yeah,
magic again, and you're very, very good. And one thing that a lot of close up magicians struggle with is getting a reaction from the audience.
yeah.
We were doing tables last night, banquet tables, and you were getting great reactions. I mean, do you have any advice on generating
Um,
reactions?
tell them to react. Tell them
Okay.
to react. That's literally it. It's the same as kids shows. It's all about the warm up. It's telling them people don't know if they're supposed to. I think so. Start off with a gag. I always go, "Eh, if this is your card, would you be impressed?" turn it over. That is my card. And I go, typically when people impress, they do tend to clap, and then they start clapping. They go, "Oh, no, no, I'm too modest. No, 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 no." But no, when you do it this time, they're all gonna go crazy for you, I promise you. So you're telling them, but not telling them. Uh, and yeah, just yeah, tell them it's people aren't. You've got to build it up. Your energy is what's going to build up their energy, and then tell them to do it. Do you know what I mean? And even if you tell them to do it, if they don't want to clap, they're not going to clap anyway. So, uh, but they need that cue, that cue. Like you were the master of it last night. It's just like I thought I was good, but you turned that side of the room into Americans. Do you
Well,
know what I mean?
all that is just I've been doing this for a very long
Yeah,
time, and
yeah,
you know how to read a table. You
mm,
know you can identify when you walk over to the table. You need to identify the people that are quieter, the people that are more reserved. You need to put them at ease. You need
yeah,
to, and it's about involving everybody, but taking particular people and kind of bringing their energy up as well. It's just experience, is all it is.
yeah. And one thing that I learned last night was when you was doing the close up, you're like you're sniffing out the people that are going to come up on stage, which is quite nice, or the people that you're going to gag with,
Yeah,
and that's quite cool. I like that. I like that. But yeah, no, it's because I used to. It's hard. Like it's hard to know what it used to be like because I never used to be this good, if I could say that about myself. But yeah, I used to struggle. I used to be like, why isn't this working? There's one trick I've just never been able to get the reactions with, and it's back in time by Jay Sankey. I love that trick. I absolutely love it, and I perform it, and it just doesn't work for me. So sometimes there's a point where you just gotta go, I just don't know why. Don't work for me. But Silver Scepter. No joke. No, but no, it's just finding what works for you. Do you know what I mean? It's like as much as I kind of like doing the mentalism, it didn't work for me with reactions. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. I like I say I like mental magic. Yeah, I mean, I like mental magic. That's what I think. I love Witch Hand. But no, I'd also say that the thing about getting the reactions is turning the spectator into the star because everybody's going to make them feel awesome, especially if it's a kid. You do a trick where it looks like and you made the kid the magician. That kid's going to have a massive smile on their face, and then you go give it up for the amazing Timothy. Then they're all going to clap for him. Do you know what I mean? It's easy. It's easy when you know how. It's easy when you know how. So.
But again, what you're talking about here just comes down to flight time.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. It's like when I was telling you the other day, when you told Ryland to show me that thing that he was, the act that he was doing, and he just switched it on and just did that little segment from his act, then turned it back off, and then went back on his Game Boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? He just went into show mode, did it, then sat back down.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just like, and that's flight time. You can just
It is.
switch it on and enjoy
Well,
it
that's the
and do
thing
it.
with Ryland. I know he's
Yeah.
only 11, but he's
Yeah.
performed on stage
Well,
since he was 3. He's had more stage experience
yeah.
on more stages than most professional magicians.
Yeah. 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 And it shows. It shows. Yeah. He's going to take over the world. Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. That Ryland's a good example of flight time, and it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. So.
And also, well, I'm going to ask you one more question. What about nerves? How do you deal with nerves? Because that's the thing that a lot of people ask me on this
Mm,
channel. And you put yourself, bearing in mind you've only been doing this properly since lockdown,
yeah.
and you put yourself into so many uncomfortable positions in
Yeah.
terms of close up, stage shows, kids shows,
Yeah.
massive family shows. Now you're doing holiday parks. You're going to be doing illusion shows. You see people. You saw me and Matt doing the show last night,
Yeah.
and neither one of us were nervous at all. You you,
Mm,
you didn't see nerves. But it was a room of 150 people,
yeah.
and we were doing an hour show. You look at Ryland. walking out on the Winter Gardens in front of a couple of thousand magicians and
Yeah.
not being nervous. But then, is that flight time? Is that
That
experience?
that
And
yeah, I'd
what
say
what
that is flight time. That's definitely flight time. But nerves aren't a bad thing. In the earlier days when I had nerves, the first time I didn't have nerves, like a few years, like whenever it was, first day I didn't have nerves, I had a really bad time
Mm,
performing. So nerves can be a good thing. It makes you be good, and I think the nerves are always there, but you suppress them anyway. You know what I mean? Just don't worry about your nerves. Turn your nerves into excitement. You know what I mean? And that's kind of it. But yeah, I think it's just flight time, isn't it? It's yeah, like I used to be that nervous. I used to get to a gig like well in advance, just not want another gig all day. Do you know what I mean? And then it comes to the point where you go, you just, it's just, it don't worry you anymore. I don't know. There's just, it is flight time. And then at some point it'll just click and you won't be nervous anymore. Do you know what I mean? I think that's just it. It's just flight time. You do it enough times. You know, you've seen, you've made all your mistakes and you know how to recover from your mistakes. And you know what happens when you mistakes, which tends to be nothing. Nothing tends to happen. Uh,
yeah.
uh, because and the biggest thing you told me is don't hide behind your tricks. Hide behind your tricks. There's nothing left. So if your trick fails, what's left?
Well, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
You
So
can't. You used to do that. You did used to do that.
yeah, yeah. Well, well, especially with the kids shows, you said you're hiding behind your tricks, and so then and I think that's mainly because people put more time, more focus into the tricks than they do actually the presentation, the chat, and just being a human. Um, yeah, just you know, just just be entertaining. I class myself more as an entertainer than a magician. Anyway, I'm there to entertain, and the magic is coming along with me. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what it is.
Great attitude to have.
Yeah.
One last question, and
Mm.
this has been an incredible interview. I really enjoyed this. But one last
Thank
question:
you.
what's your goals moving forward? Because you've achieved so much in a very short period of time. You are a full-time magician. You're doing stage. You're learning illusion shows, close-up kids. You work for Slightly Unusual Non-Stop Kids, but you've got your own website, which generates a lot of work as well.
Yeah.
You like what goals do you have? I know you mentioned earlier on talking about Holly.
Yeah.
But are there any other goals? Are you wanting to be a creator? Are you wanting like what are you wanting to bring genuine magic back? What are your goals in terms of going out and performing? Do you have a dream gig that you want to do? Like tell me a little bit about your goal because I know you are quite
Uh,
goal driven.
uh, one of them's a bear pit. That's one that I want to do. Uh, that's a bit of a shoot that but I know my goal is just to flourish. Do you know what I mean? Just flourish with what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm really really content right now. Do you know what I mean? It's I make a living about something what I love doing. Do you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, my long term goal was making it so Holly doesn't have to work. Not that she doesn't want to work. It's like my job is I just want to be able to go this magic is that sort of thing. So Holly doesn't have to work and she can do what she wants to do, which would be nice for her. That's always been at the back of my mind. Do you know what I mean? It's I've turned into mucking around with pieces of paper, turning them over uh, as a career. So let Holly, my wife Holly, uh, turn her hobby into whatever she wants to do. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. And yeah, you know, just yeah, I'm quite content where I am, and it can only get better the more I work, right? So creating doesn't not really. It kind of appealed to me, but I think that was just more the ego in me. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, I created this, and it's like, so I've been there, done it. You know, it's hard work. Don't make much money. Move on. Um, um, but yeah, no, it's just carrying on. I just want to be that family entertainer. That family entertainer everybody wants to book. That's what I want to be. That's it. That family entertainer that everybody wants to book. Do you know what I mean? Um, yeah, that's it. So
That's a great goal. That's a great goal. And if you could give people that are wanting to become full-time or part-time or semi-pro, if you could give them three pieces of advice to finish this interview,
three piece of
what
advice.
three pieces of advice? We've got so but people that are listening to this and they're either, they're
Yeah,
wanting to start making money from magic or they're wanting to go pro or they've just started making money from magic, but they want to do better. As somebody who's been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt, and you're relatively new into your journey,
yeah.
what three advice can you give?
Uh, if they want to make money out of it, is that if they're already a magician, you've already got the tricks. Forget about the tricks. Go out, perform them tricks in public, get flight time, do loads of free gigs. So go and do loads of free gigs, get the photographs, build a decent not decent website, but a website that has the product that people want to buy, and the product that people want to buy is brides and grooms smiling. Do you know what I mean? Guests smiling or whatever it is you want to do. You're not the product. The person's the product. Drew Perry gave me some good advice. Is like, you've got to find out what the customer wants. They might not know what they want, but you got to find out what they want. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just get flight time. Don't have to be the best website, but it has to be what they want to see on the website, and build your SEO. Flight time, website, build your SEO, which it's all there on the internet. Everything's there on the internet for free. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, flight time. I'd say that's the biggest thing. Flight time, free gigs. Keep doing free gigs. I still do free gigs. You know what I mean? If I've got nothing better to do, I'll do a free gig. I love performing magic. So, yeah. So, um, but it's not easy. The business side of it's not easy. The magic's easy. Magic's easy. The business side of it is no. The business side of it is easy. It just takes time. I mean, you need to put the time in. Anybody can do it. Yeah, I mean, you've just got to put the time into it, and just be good at time management. So yeah, so I'd say flight time, uh, gets flight time assets, and flight time assets, and yeah, I'd say that flight time and assets. That's what you need, flight time and assets. Yeah,
Definitely. And I have to give a shout out before we finish this interview to your social media. It's only a few months ago that you started doing Instagram and Facebook properly as a magician. And I said to you, you need to start doing more social media, and you were like, okay. And your Instagram videos are just truly unique.
yeah,
I've never seen anyone else, and I know if you talk about never giving up, social media is hard. I
yeah,
remember when I first started doing YouTube, I'd put videos out and get like one view or two views. It's
yeah,
very disheartening. A lot of people then end up quitting and not bothering. You've been going at it for a little while now, and you're building up an audience, which is great. But
yeah,
anybody watching this, subscribe to Thomas Moloney on Instagram and Facebook because your video's hilarious. You're not just sitting there to camera doing magic. A lot of the time, you're involving your kids, you're involving Holly. You've got
yeah,
that personal touch in the videos. And I think they're the sort of things that magicians would watch and find funny, but
yeah.
also prospective clients that watch your videos, you will become so endearing to them
Yeah,
because
well,
they go,
that's it.
oh,
Yeah,
he's a family man. Oh, he's getting his kids involved. He's a good
yeah.
dad, whatever it may be. But they're also funny as hell.
Mm.
And you've got that little catchphrase, is it on? It's just the whole thing is just
Yeah.
wholly
That's it. It's you just do within your strengths, don't you? I'm not the best. I'm no Instagram. I can't do Instagram stuff. I'm not an 11-year-old boy that's cute that does awesome magic. I've got a receding hairline, and my wife hates magic tricks being performed to her, so I do it. And then it's, that's the truth, isn't it? That's the other thing. Digital footprint. That was what I was trying to figure. Digital footprint. Look busy. Look busy. When people inquire, you're busy. You're always busy. You know, don't be too cheap. Don't be too. I always find it's like, well, why are they that cheap? I found that when I actually put the prices to what I wanted them to be, I found I started getting more work. Not crazy prices, but when I was like going, oh no, but I'll do it for 60 quid. People at the wedding a bit like, do we really want to, man? So yeah, just yeah, digital footprint, look busy. You've been doing it for years. You know, don't say, oh, it's my first gig. I want, you know, just you've been doing it all your life. You know what I mean? So when did you get into magic? Oh, I was about 6. Don't tell them that I kicked the wand under the bed and decided not to do it till I was 30. But yeah, so yeah, fake it till you make it. I don't even know if that's good advice or not.
Yeah, it is. It's very good advice. Fake it till you make it. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. You know, that's what I've always done my entire career. I've just said yes and worried about it afterwards. No,
We've got to. I think it was. Was it? It was Russ Brown, wasn't it? Yes, just say yes.
yeah,
Whatever, you just say yes. His lecture, and yeah,
yeah.
it's always been
So,
good. Can you do it? Yeah, of course I can. You've been doing it all your life? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
and then you panic about it afterwards, and you figure out, well, that's
Well,
it. If we hadn't have done that, Ryland would never have gone on BGT because we got the
exactly.
phone call, you know, and we was like, yeah,
Mhm.
what's he going to do? I don't know. He's 6.
Yeah,
I've got no clue. Well, you know, we've got a bit of time to figure it out. You say yes. You always say yes.
you got to. Yeah, yeah. It's a say yes. You know, what's worse that could happen? You know, a bad review. Mm. Bad
Well,
review.
I don't think you've ever had a bad review at our company, so
No, no, no. I
you know.
don't think I have. Yeah.
Thomas, this has been an
Thank
amazing
you.
you. Thank you so much for jumping on Magic TV. Now, people want to connect with you. I also know you're one of the friendliest people that I know. So, if people are
Yeah,
watching this from around the world and they want some advice from somebody who's actually out there doing it,
yeah.
can they contact you?
Yeah, Facebook's, yeah, I'd say, Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, so
Uh,
just on Instagram, you're Thomas Moloney Magician.
Instagram would be better, actually. Instagram would be better because then it'll get people traffic to my Instagram. So
On,
contact me
In-
on Instagram.
on
But you can
Instagram,
find my
he's
phone number or anything. I'm all over the place. That's the other thing. Try and be everywhere on the internet, you know. Um, so
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Um, so Thomas, if you wanna speak to Thomas about anything that we've spoken about, reach out to
Mm,
him. But honestly, as somebody who's been working with you now for a couple of years, and someone
yeah,
who's seen you perform over and over again, and someone that sees the feedback from the gigs that you do, you're doing amazing. You're phenomenal. You're fantastic. It's unbelievable that
yeah,
somebody, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago wasn't even doing magic, and their idea of doing a gig was a couple of card tricks to now seeing what you were like yesterday.
yeah,
Amazing, man. It really is. So,
yeah.
congratulations. It's like you said to me yesterday, you're the original Matt.
I am. I'm the
Less
original
famous
Matt.
Matt, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Know, you're out there, you're doing it, and you're doing it at a high level, and you should be proud. You really should.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And it's great working for you as well. And so thanks for having me on here.
I think that you're going to inspire a lot of people
I
by,
hope so. I hope so. Because it's there's so much bad. There's so much bad or pedestal information on Facebook, and I was like, you don't have to be like that. You
yeah.
know, what I mean, it's not
There's
that.
information all the time saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't be a full-time professional magician. You can do anything if you want to. You've just got to put your mind to it. Don't let
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
tell you that you can't do something because the only person that can stop you is you.
yeah, yeah. It's and do kids pies. Just do kids pies. Don't
Yeah,
worry about it. If
I agree.
look, Andy Nyman did kids pies. Come on, do you know what I mean? So yeah,
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. Thomas, thank you so much for jumping on Magic TV. I know I will see you again soon. Guys, connect with Thomas. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the interview. I honestly believe that Thomas is one of the best kept secrets in Magic, and he will help anyone. So reach out to him. And one more time, Thomas, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Guys, on behalf of the great Thomas Moloney. Thank you for checking out Magic TV. Leave a comment down below. I will be back next Saturday with another interview. And don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow on Sunday with a review show at 9 o'clock and a Q&A at 12 o'clock and a 6 o'clock and Magic Live. But I'll see you again. Thanks for watching. I'm Craig. This is Tom. And this has been Magic TV.